This pastime is much easier than you think before you start it.
Famous people associated with this pastime include Jane Austen and George Eliot.
It tends to go with having large hips, but it's not essential.
And Hollywood actress Winona Ryder starred in a film about this pastime.
I'd recommend it to anybody, young or old.
Hi, my name's Louise Taylor. I'm 27 years old and I live in Walthamstow, and I'm interested in patchwork and quilting. Well, it's quite a long story, but 3 years ago I was in my garden just quickly chatting to my next door neighbour who was considerably older than me, and she was going to some sewing class in the local college, and I thought, well, I'll go along for one evening, see what it's like, and here we are 3 years later.
The revival of the patchwork and quilting movement in the 1970s was mainly due to people regarding it as a creative craft instead of an economic necessity.
You start off and you think, oh, this is just a hobby, and then it just gets out of control. I didn't have anything in the way of equipment, and bit by bit I bought myself a rotary cutter, a cutting mat, a ruler and a sewing machine and tons of fabric.
In 1979, the Quilters Guild of the British Isles was formed, and now it has about 7,000 members.
Initially I thought that patchwork and quilting was just a small thing that went on in my evening class, and I was soon to find out it was a busy, well-known international hobby. You can just get on the internet and you meet people from all over the world. I've subscribed to a couple of patchwork and quilting digests in America, and they send about up to 100 emails to me every day. Well, over the few years that I've been doing patchwork and quilting, I've done a couple of large quilt tops and various wall hangings, etc. I've given away a few quilts away as presents, but they're like my children. I feel heartbroken to give them away because I'll never really see them very often after that.
There are hundreds of patchwork and quilting groups all over the country. Most of them meet regularly for lectures and workshops and just to get together and sew.
Well, it's Saturday morning and I'm off to Marsh Quilters for a whole day workshop, and there's probably going to be about 10 to 15 other ladies with me. I suppose I'd just like to see a productive use of my spare time, and I probably spend 3 or 4 nights a month going to different patchwork and quilting meetings, and 2 or 3 Saturdays even, depending on the month, going to workshops, etc.
Right, now you all know my chop and go quilts. This is chop and go.
The workshops tend to be between 10 and 4 on a Saturday. You usually listen to the teacher in the morning, and then in the afternoon you tend to produce something from what they've shown you. And it's a great laugh, everybody's eager to learn, and it's not really like being back at school because you want to be there.
Right, okay then, off you go.
Traditional patchwork quilts were made of hexagons hand-stitched together. Now there are literally hundreds of different techniques, some for handwork and some quick-stitched by machine.
We've got to cut out loads of strips of material, sew them all together, and everything's got to be wonky, so we don't need rulers or any of the traditional implements that we usually use. And hopefully at the end of the day I will have one like so. got to do 3 of these. I'm like halfway through a second one, which is a lot quicker than the first one. I was struggling a bit with that one, but we're getting there. Then we're going to cut it all up, slash it all, and produce a lovely work of art. I think it's very relaxing. It's just so different from what I do in a working day. I work for an insurance company in the IT department, and I'm responsible for the telephones. I'm sure you're all familiar with phoning some big company and it says, if you want this, press 1, and if you want that, press 2 and star and hash, or some pest like me actually programming that up. I really enjoy it because the day is fairly varied, although I'd rather be chilling out and doing patchwork every day than having to go to work, that's for sure. You can see from the group there's quite a varied age group. There's me, I'm 27, and Sis, who's on the end over there, she admitted to being 72. It's at least 40 odd years between us.
I think it's a lovely thing to have, because if you're not mobile or if you had something wrong with your legs, you can always do something. I love doing things with my hands.
Quite interesting to see the way they see me and how I get on with them.
There are lots of young people in it, and some of the stuff they do is really fantastic because they're stretching the boundaries more.
I tend to use colours that not everybody uses, have ideas not everybody has, which is sometimes quite funny because mine doesn't necessarily look like the teacher's does, but I find that everybody's really fun and exciting anyhow, and I enjoy doing it.
I definitely recommend it to people. Don't be put off by the fact that I've got into it in such a big way. It's as big or a little a hobby as you make it. I just think, you know, it gives you an opportunity to get out there and learn something new.
Out there are hundreds of different fabrics now for us to buy, to stroke and to enjoy using.
I've been wanting to do patchwork since I was really quite small, and I've collected fabrics for years and years and years, and I'm thrilled to bits that I'm actually now having a chance to use them.
You can form your own patterns. That's what I like.
I love colour, I love the texture of fabrics, and I love the freedom it gives to express your creativity. I see so many women doing so many amazing things with it.
It's good to see the way we all get on so well. We have a great laugh some days, phrases that come out, or the subjects for discussion are just hilarious. Anything to underwear, to sex, to drugs, to what's on TV. They're quite up to date on what's going on. The day can be quite a challenge because you think, no idea how to do that, and then gradually through the day or the evening you learn how to do that technique, and at the end you just think, wow, I did that, I did something with my day.
Perfect. Perfect. What, chatting, sewing, eating, sunshine, what more do you want? Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I've got about an hour, hour and a half left, so hopefully I'll have a block finished by the end of the day. There you go, one whole day's work finished. Probably I'll make it into a cushion cover after this to make some use of it eventually. It's only at the close of the day where you see how everyone else has got on and you think, gosh, I would never have used those colours, but that really looks good, or that looks dreadful.
Give yourself a clap.
I think people do smile when you say do patchwork and quilting. They think, oh, what's that? A bit of sewing, a bit of tapestry or something. They're not quite sure what it is. But then I'd probably turn tables on them and say, well, what do you do in your spare time? Nothing. At least I'm doing something. We've got a lot of friends out of it, and I'm just having a whale of a time.